What is up, everyone? Just when I was getting worried that I'd spoken about pretty much everything Power Mac related on the channel, this came along. And I am so thrilled that I've discovered this product. So, quick story, this is going to be a rambly IMNC episode full of nerdy IMNC, PowerPC, Power Mac goodness. So if you're not into that sort of thing, click off now because yes, I will be speaking. So, the story is, I was searching G4 stuff on eBay, and I do it from time to time. I just like to keep in and see what's going on, see what prices things are going for, and check out what things people are listing and whatnot, just to see the trends. And this just popped up on my screen out of nowhere amongst all of the other Power Mac G4 stuff, and it caught my eyes straight away because even though I've been into this Power Mac stuff for years and years, I have never ever seen this product. So it was listed on eBay for $11.99, I believe, with a few quid delivery. I just had to buy it. I just went for it, buy it now. And the eBay seller, it turns out, he is absolutely brilliant and he's gone above and beyond. Not only did he get this out to me really quickly, but also I've been having a chat to him via a couple of messages, and he's been sharing a little bit more info about this and about his use of Power Macs back in the day in relation to this product and a few other little bits and pieces. So Eric, you are a fantastic seller, and it's such a breath of fresh air to get such a good eBay seller. So I really do appreciate it. If you are watching the video, I hope you enjoy seeing your product on video. This will be something that I will keep in my collection forever because I know how rare it is, and I love this stuff. This is something I'll never part with. So you know that this has gone to a good home. So instead of sort of me splurging out everything sort of that I want to talk about at the beginning of this video, we'll do it in bits and bobs throughout. So first, let's just dig in and take a look at what this is. So just to kind of explain a little bit more, I didn't know this product existed until I saw this listed on eBay. So it's not like I knew it was a thing and then I went on eBay looking for it or anything like that. It was just one of those pure coincidences. And as soon as I saw it, I kind of knew what it was all about. I could picture what it was. It's a very simple product, but I think what it will add to a Power Mac setup is quite significant. So let's just carefully cut the tape here. I want to be extra careful because obviously it's absolutely wonderful that I've even managed to get this in the first place, but the fact that it's boxed in the original box is even cooler. So even if I use this on a daily basis, I will still keep the box on my shelf, of course. Okay, here we go. Okie dokie. So we've got a few different pieces here. Let's have a look. Now these do indeed look like the original bags, which is cool. So here is the first piece. Lovely. And here is the second piece. Awesome. And I believe, folks, there you go, there's the empty box. I believe it is that simple. So let's pop this stuff away. So there is the box, folks, that can go neatly on my shelf. Now, Contour Design, if we look on the back here, you can see there's a web address here. And I did type this web address in, and they are still, it looks like they're still going. They've got an active website. They still make various accessories and whatnot. It seems to be sort of like, just from the kind of 10-second scroll around the site that I had, it seems to be like assistive input devices and stuff like that. But, you know, along the same lines. Now, Contour Design actually made, from what I can gather, two products for the Power Mac G3 and Power Mac G4 towers. They made this, which is an extremely rare product that I'd never heard of, so this is what we're covering today. But they also made another product that I have heard of, and that is the G-Rack. Now, I've seen this before on a couple of videos on YouTube, and the one that stands out to me the most is, this is Adam B, Alfred's buddy. He made some videos showcasing his G4 years and years ago, 10 plus years ago, and I remember that he had a G-Rack, and I learned about what it was from the comments somebody asked back in the day, what is a G-rack, and he replied. Now, of course, the top surface of a Power Mac tower is not flat, it's not straight. There's handles, there's curves, the plastic sort of is nice and contoured. So you can't really place anything large and flat on the top of the machine, but the G-rack allows you to place stuff on top of the machine. So that's one accessory that I had heard of. And it's this same company that made these things, the G-risers. Or I guess, even though there's two here, it's called the G-riser, so I guess the G-riser is a product, but you obviously get two risers. So I was chuffed to find this. I'd love to find a G-rack as well, and that's one thing I asked Eric, do you have a G-rack? Because he said he'd be listing a couple of bits and bobs. And it turns out that he did own one back in the day, but he no longer owns one. I think he said that he sold it on eBay back in the day, and that was because he didn't find it as elegant as this, and he hid all of his accessories under the desk as opposed to having them on display on top of the Power Mac tower, which I completely get, you know, for a clean setup, hiding all your stuff away under the desk, you know, the G-rack would then be unnecessary if you weren't putting anything on top. But let's get back to this product, because hopefully we'll get our hands on a G-rack in the future, and that would be really cool because it would complete our contour design Power Mac G3 and G4 accessories. But let's leave the G-rack be for a second and just chat a little bit about the G-riser. So we've got two pieces here which look very similar. I'm not sure if there's a difference between them. Just by eyeballing it at the moment, they look pretty much identical. Now the whole idea is they stand on your desk like this, and wow, that is quite an elevation, guys. That is quite a height. So they stand on the desk and they lift the Power Mac tower off the desk by a considerable amount. So of course this does improve the air circulation around the machine because it's lifted off the desk, and it also gives the machine quite a bit more presence. It's going to be quite a bit larger because it's going to be taller, and I think it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. Before I babble on any longer, let's grab a Power Mac tower and clip these on and see how they work. Now I'm a bit nervous. I really don't want to break these, and I really don't want to break the world's fastest G3. So I'm going to be really careful here, folks. So Eric gave me a couple of hints and tips. I just read over his message again because I really don't want to break these. Because I'm aware that they're a good few years old. So even though they look really sturdy, it's really thick plastic, still don't want to take any risks. So we are going to spend a little while getting this right. We're talking probably about 20 years old, guys. There's an article on Mac Observer that I'll link to in the video description. It's from 2001, so this is 20-year-old stuff here. Let's see. Let's see how far we get here before I start worrying. Okay, we have got it, and it is really, really cool. Okay, let's check this out. I'm going to go into the old handheld mode and let's take a close look. So here is my G3, and as you can see, it is sitting on the risers. Now, you can see by the design that they are perfectly sort of tailored to the shape of the feet. And there's two little clips, they just clip in, and it's not a case of like ramming it in or anything like that. It just sits down really neatly in there. Then you get this really satisfying little clunk, and it's all clipped in and ready to rock. And as you can see, that really elevates it. It is looking awesome. What a beast. It just looks magnificent, guys. Look at that. Now, with the G3, we're talking this kind of like frosted look with the handles. But of course on the G4s, they more closely match this much more see-through design. So it looks gorgeous with the G3, but I think it would look even better with the G4 tower. Now, this is where I'm going to be really interested because this came out in 2001. And if we look at the website here, the Mac Observer article, pretty much the only photograph of this thing available online is here. And as you can see, there's a G3 tower in the back there, and there's a G4 tower there. It's a sawtooth tower because obviously the Quicksilvers weren't quite here yet. Now I've got a Quicksilver on my desk. This is a Hackintosh. It's got custom PC components inside, as you guys know, but the case is still exactly the same. Now what I'm curious to see is, does this stand fit the Quicksilver case? Because when it came to the Quicksilver and MDD, they changed one thing quite significantly about the handles. If we look at the G3, and the Sawtooth G4 is the same, they've got these ridges on the bottom here. You can see them there. It's all ridged plastic, same on the feet. And I'm not sure if those ridges are contributing to the way that this stand is attaching. It's kind of hard to tell, but it sort of looks like it is, because those little clips there are resting on that portion. So what I really want to find out is, does it work with these feet, which are smoother and thinner? Overall a different shape. Let's feel this. Yeah, I think they're a little bit thinner as well. So I'm going to unhook this. It just so happens, you may notice I've got my MacBook here, just so happens that I'm currently working on the Hackintosh, and you'll see that in another video. So I don't have a lot hooked up to it at the moment, so we'll whip it off the desk and we'll see if we can get it clipped on to the G-risers. Now firstly, what I'm going to demonstrate is lifting the G3 with these feet attached, because the whole thing lifts up as one piece, which is awesome. I can lift the machine. Oh, that's heavy. And the feet are attached, which is really, really cool. So I've got a feeling that it's quite likely that I'm going to mess something up here. Now I've tied all these cables back. I'm not sure whether there's enough slack to get me up to the height that these are going to introduce, but I'm just going to whack this on the bottom and see what it does. Come on, baby. Oh, guys. It fits. It fits, it fits, it fits. Okay, that's making me uncomfortable. Now then, as soon as I can get this underneath. Oh, man. Well, guys, let me get the camera off the tripod and chat to you about this. Take a look at this. Now then, I've pulled the machine out from the back wall ever so slightly, just to show you guys the stand in more of its glory. I'm going to sit in my chair just so you guys can get an idea of scale and how much the tower is lifted off the desk. It looks monstrous, like in a good way. It's really glorious, and I can't help but think a little tiny subtle strip, no RGB or any of that rubbish, just a little strip of white lights under here, just giving a subtle glow of white from underneath, would be stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. So, may try and get something like that going. But I'm going to do a horrible camera maneuver here now, folks. For those of you who forgot about some of the modifications I might have done to this system, one of the mods I did is I put a radiator in the bottom here for my AIO liquid cooler. Now the fan intake is through the bottom. So let me just show you the fan. Hopefully you can see it. I've got no idea. I've got no idea if you could see it there, guys. If not, I'll overlay a shot from the Hackintosh series. This will actually improve airflow one heck of a lot for me. And it would for a normal Power Mac as well, because you're pretty much taking every single surface away from any kind of, desk or whatever, especially if you've got it away from the wall and whatnot. The air can circulate around the entire machine, which is just fantastic. The Quicksilver, this stand doesn't fit quite as well. Now, I've figured out what it's all about, and it was those ridges. So if you look on G3 here, let me just try and walk around without breaking anything. On the G3 you can see right at the bottom there, you've got that ridge, that bottom lip. That is what the stand actually clips onto. Now, the good news is, even though the clips aren't necessarily working on the Quicksilver, the beauty of this stand, and this is something that I couldn't tell from the pictures, the weight isn't actually held by this portion on the foot here. It's holding the machine from the underneath. The entire stand is holding the metal of the machine, which is great. So even though these clips aren't clipped in, it's not going anywhere. Now you can't lift the machine because as you can see, it starts to separate from the stand, but it's still on there. And obviously it's a heavy machine, so gravity and all that, it's not going anywhere, folks. Now, this is definitely not intended for the Quicksilver or MDD, but damn, it is working out pretty okay. Now, those cables look horrible. What I'm going to do is move the machine back, try and tie those back, get them right in the far corner. And yeah, I still haven't painted this room yet, obviously, so the green is a bit meh. But this could look really sick with a nice setup, and my setup needs some attention, but let's push that back and see how it looks. So there it is, pushed back in its position. Do excuse the USB hub on its side there, I've just got it out the way. Now what I will do, I think I'll get some either grey or white split flexible trunking, not very thick, just to wrap around that bundle of cables that comes down from the machine, because there's a lot of them, because obviously I've got my audio interface up here. We've got 4 thick cables coming from that, the 2 inputs and the 2 outputs. So that, coupled with all of the, you know, the usual input output for the machine itself, there's a lot of cables. So we'll get that trunked up, because of course, now that the machine is risen, you can see the cabling, because you can see directly underneath it. So we'll get that tidied up. But yeah, this G-Riser by Contour Design is a 20-year-old obscure Mac accessory, not just any Mac accessory, it's a Power Mac Tower accessory, and it is going to live on my main setup, and I am chuffed to bits with it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little showcase video for definitely one of the strangest but coolest products we've ever checked out on the channel. Huge thank you to Eric for being one of the best eBay sellers I've ever dealt with. I'm just so pleased that I found these on some random search that I was doing coincidentally on some evening last week. So chuffed to bits, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. It's been great fun, and yeah, we'll tidy all this up in a future setup video, so look forward to that. And we'll get some lights on the go as well, because that's going to look gorgeous. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.